For those who don't know, I worked for Rooster Teeth for 3 years after my first company, Screw Attack, was acquired by a company called Fullscreen. So Fullscreen bought Screw Attack, and then Fullscreen bought Rooster Teeth. And then they said, hey, you boys play nice, and they merged Screw Attack into Rooster Teeth. So I spent 3 years working for Rooster Teeth. Now, Mally, what do you know about Rooster Teeth?
I know that they created a lot of shows that, from my experience, and I mean no hate to anybody, a lot of basement dweller gamers watched.
Ouch.
You're not wrong. You're not. I mean, you're really not wrong. But it was a very niche community, very, very active community for a long time, very strong.
Yeah.
And that's what made them an acquisition target for Fullscreen. And Fullscreen is a company that is dead and gone at this point, but they were acquired by God, I don't even remember who. I think it was AT&T. Everything you need to know is the people who founded Rooster Teeth, they're fucking rich, right? They are insanely wealthy. Okay. And eventually Rooster Teeth shut down. Like, they could not adapt to what was happening on YouTube. They saw their analytics drop off a cliff. They catered to this woke mind virus. I mean, like I said, I saw this firsthand, right? While I was down there, and it only got worse over time. And eventually they had to say goodbye, and they said goodbye in April of last year. So it's about 9 months ago. They had this post over on X saying, hey, pretty much we're done. It's our final live stream. And there was a big, sad day. Everything's gone type of thing. Until today, where they posted over on social media, Butts, which is that's a thing on Rooster Teeth. And that got people really intrigued until they went to their YouTube channel and saw that there was a new video posted called Homecoming. And we'll go to watch this really fast. And this has Bernie Burns, who was one of the founders of Rooster Teeth. And to be clear, this was their office. They took over this space over here. This is called Stage 5. They had this space over here. And from where the camera's at, they actually had even more space behind where the camera's at. This was a major production space, okay, that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars every month. So anyways, they posted this video this morning.
Guys, why the lights off? I'm back from getting milk. What the hell happened?
So they posted that, and you could see the under management, because they're not new. And what we've learned is that they first off, they did this podcast. Bernie and his wife did a podcast pretty much talking about this. They had a show called Morning Somewhere, and they announced that they have acquired the Rooster Teeth brand, and it's now just Bernie and Ashley, which once again is his wife. And he says that all the other former Rooster Teeth employees are now doing their own thing, and to not start badgering them about if they're going to be coming back. It says it's not to say that they won't, but let them announce it in their own time. So it sounds like they're trying to get the band back together. What's really interesting about this is not that they're trying to bring back Rooster Teeth. It's that when you look at what's happening in the content space as a whole, like there is an immense nostalgia for this time of people's life. They'll look back to, a decade ago, and they'll say, oh man, Rooster Teeth was so good in 2013 or 2015. I hear that all the time when it comes to like Screw Attack stuff. I watched you all the time in 2011 or whatever, 2009. What happens in situations like this is you tie the content to a certain time in your life. that you didn't have as many responsibilities, right? So that's where the nostalgia comes in. But I think this is really interesting that they're going to at least try to bring back Rooster Teeth. Mally, you said you're pretty familiar with this. I don't know your thoughts on just the idea of Rooster Teeth coming back.
I think you pretty much nailed it, and we talked about it earlier. It's like you're poking at people's nostalgia, and that is something that, over time, people are going to kind of put that in a bubble and make it perfect and make it something that they love so they can hold on to it. And opening that back up, bringing it to the front, it's a gamble. It is, because you're gonna either make people mad, or obviously the fans are gonna be excited at the thought of it because that's what they think it's going to be. They have their own idea of what it's going to look like. Oh, it's going to be just what I remember it to be. No, it's not. It's inevitably not going to be the way you remember it because it's not the same time or people. Even like you said, they said, "Oh, don't pressure them into coming back." Well, they probably won't even have the same team. So I think it's a real gamble for them to do this.
I think it's obviously a gamble. And I said this over on X. I said, it looks like Rooster Teeth's being rebooted by Bernie and Ashley. Congrats to them. I understand the desire, but it's dangerous game dealing with people's nostalgia, as oftentimes, no matter how good the reboot would be, it'll never be good enough. With that said, I certainly hope it works out for them and they capture the magic they're looking for.
Yep.
Look, I've been asked, I pursued reacquiring Screw Attack for a while. And look, if it fell in my lap, I would look at it, but I got to be honest, I'm way more interested in building this and what we have going on over here at Side Scrollers. I mean, we're taking steps every day to grow and expand, and we're getting into edited content for the first time, and here in the next few months, which is really exciting. And we're going to be doing our own thing. One of the things I thought was really interesting, though, when they announced this, when they were talking about this, they did this like 9.5-minute little podcast talking about it, and they talk about how a lot of the people who worked for Rooster Teeth tried to go out and do their own thing, and they realize it's really fucking hard. It's really hard to make it by yourself. It's really hard to not have that brand overseeing it. And this is it ties back into what we're seeing in the video game space at Kotaku, journalist, whatever, where they want to leave and they think that they have this audience, but in reality, they're following the bigger brand, and you just happen to be a part of it. Starting over and these quote unquote stars, like, and to be clear, I think I've talked about this publicly. I don't know. Back when I worked for Rooster Teeth, they had a tier list of people, right? A tier list of their stars that worked for Rooster Teeth. This is when Screw Attack was a part of it. They had an A tier, a B tier, and a C tier. I was not on that tier at all. They didn't think much of me at all. They didn't think that I was anyone like this is. I had a brand that I'd built over 1 million subscribers and had this, but they didn't think anything of me. And you know what? I took that fucking personally. I very much took it personally. And you see a lot of those people who were A stars or B stars who have then, since Rooster Teeth has collapsed, have gone out and they're nothing. They're no longer stars. They were a product of the system. I do take great satisfaction in that. I'm not going to lie. I am petty when it comes to that. As we are live every day kicking ass. So I do wish them luck. Is it going to be an uphill battle? Yes. Because not only are they fighting the space that you're in right now, the content space that has evolved dramatically, even in the last 9 months, which caused you to shut down to begin with, but you're also fighting people's nostalgia. So good luck. Good luck to that. What about you, Blabs? Do you have anything on this? Are you familiar with Rooster Teeth at all?
Barely, so I can't comment.
I think somebody in the chat nailed it, just saying if you don't know, if you didn't learn from why you failed last time, there's not really a point in doing it again. That's a very valid point.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if they do learn from it, because they hired a lot of activists and they thought they were on the right side of history. And I'm very intrigued to see kind of what comes of this. So good luck. I guess that's the best thing that you can say is good luck in a situation like this.